Do you have a toddler that just won't sleep through the night? It can be so painful for you, especially when they were sleeping well. So what's happening? Hey there, I'm Dr. Sarah Mitchell, a sleep consultant at Helping Babies Sleep. And today we're going to talk about the reasons why your toddler might not be sleeping through the night. When we talk about toddler today, we're going to talk about a large age range. We're going to talk about age 1 to up to about 3 years. So in general, for any age group, there's two main reasons your kiddo wakes up frequently at night. Okay, the first one is, in general, most of the kiddos we see are overtired. How do you get overtired? You fall into a sleep debt. And this happens when you stay awake too long before bed, you don't nap enough during the day, or you wake up too much in the night. You get stuck in a negative feedback loop where your child's not getting enough sleep, harder to fall asleep and then stay asleep, and the negative feedback loop continues, right? Sleep begets sleep. The more well-rested your kiddo, the easier it will be to get them to fall asleep and then stay asleep. So that's the first reason. Your child's a little bit overtired. The second reason is that your child relies on something external to help make them drowsy to fall asleep. Notice I didn't say asleep. Something that helps make them drowsy. This could be a pacifier, a bottle, a breast, lying beside someone, being rocked, any of those external things that they might get at bedtime. And then when they wake up in the night, which all humans do, they look or want or prefer that same thing to come help them become drowsy again so they can fall back asleep. Because all humans wake up in the night, but not all humans need to eat necessarily in the night to fall back asleep or need their parent to lie beside them to fall back into sleep, right? Because you can imagine if you have a 2-year-old and you lie beside them until they're asleep at bedtime, that kiddo wakes up in the middle of the night and they're like, they left me. Where the heck did they go? And they call for you to come recreate the conditions that they know and prefer to help them fall asleep. Going back to the number one reason of being overtired, what does well-rested even look like at this age? So most kiddos in the 1 to 3 year age range need roughly 11 hours of uninterrupted nighttime sleep to feel good when they wake up in the morning. And most of these kids need about an hour and a half to a 3-hour nap total per day. Okay, so most kids don't really go down to one nap until around 15 months. But if you're on 2 naps or 1 nap, that range of an hour and a half to 3 hours of total nap time per day is very age appropriate. Plus those 11 to 12 hours of overnight sleep as well. Often parents say to me, well, they fall asleep fine at bedtime, but then they just keep waking up in the night. That's true. But I want you to go back to your bedtime, because here's the thing. It's too hard to learn something new in the middle of the night. So if your child's getting you at bedtime and then you don't want to give yourself to them in the middle of the night, that's really hard for them to learn something new in the middle of the night. So changes always happen at bedtime. There's research out there to show that the more a parent intervenes at bedtime or helps out, that the more they will increase their chance of waking up in the night. That's research by Dr. Jodi Mindell, who is a pediatric sleep researcher. Let's talk about why else you could be struggling with night waking, why they're still not sleeping through the night. Well, it's possible for some of you in that 1-year-old range that you may have legitimately shifted some of your milk calories into the nighttime. And now it's really a habit that their body's used to eating that 4 or 5 ounce bottle at 1 a.m. Okay, that's possible. That's a habit. Can it be changed? Absolutely. The second reason might be that your toddler might be getting molars, right? You have a first-year set of molars that can come through any time after 12 months. It really does vary, child to child. And then you also have a second-year set of molars that can come through after 2 years. The biggest sign of getting teething and molars at this age is those 5 a.m. wake-ups. So if you've had a kiddo who's been sleeping really well, but now they're up at 5, I want you to be assessing if they are getting their molars. The morning sleep cycles are a lot faster and not as deep as the early part of the night. So often what happens is kiddos will surface from sleep and then they're distracted by the inflammation that has settled overnight in their teeth. Inflammation is swelling. Swelling pushes pressure on the pain nerve receptors, and that causes discomfort. And then I'm bothered by this discomfort, and I just can't happen to relax myself back into sleep. And you can imagine too, if you're reliant on a parent to sleep with you to fall asleep at night, when your parent comes in at 5 a.m., sometimes it can actually be distracting for a little person to have their parent there. Like very active toddlers are like, "Ooh, there's mom. Maybe it's time to play," or "There's dad. Maybe it's time to play. I want to play," and I'm distracted again them from falling back into sleep. Another thing that could be happening to you in this toddler age is developmental changes that are perfectly natural and normal. Testing limits. These are Erik Erikson's stages of psychosocial development. So his theory states that each child must progress through stages of development which have some sort of conflict in each stage. And those conflicts need to be resolved before they can pass through to the next stage. So in the 1.5 to 3-year-old stage, we have trust versus autonomy. What that looks like is, hey, can I trust the world? And you will have probably seen this. Your little person out on the play structure, playing independently or running away from you, kind of teasing you and looking back to make sure that you're still there. They want that autonomy, but they still want to know that their parents are there. And at bedtime, what this can show up with is wanting certain controls over things, wanting you to stay in the room when previously they fell asleep fine. And you're like, what is going on here? This falls into the idea of, can I trust the world? I want to exert my opinions on the world and see what comes back. And you may notice that in the daytime with them really wanting that purple cup, not the pink one, the purple one, or really wanting to do it themselves, right? And really wanting a little bit of power. So like I said, wanting you to stay where they can see you or have you sit, in a certain way beside them at bedtime. These stages of development manifest as what we call sleep regressions, where kids who were previously sleeping well now are not settling as well, or they might be waking up at night. And at any age, when you hear sleep regression, I want you to be thinking growth and distraction, because that's what a sleep regression is. Your child is growing physically or neurologically, and that's distracting them from relaxing down into sleep, right? Physically, it would be by getting teeth. Neurologically, it would be passing through those stages of development, learning to point, language burst around 22 months. A lot of kids get a language burst and they are able to communicate that much more. And then they often have a sleep regression, which is weird because they have more that they want to say and communicate. They're just not there yet. And that can be kind of frustrating. The third and final thing that could possibly be causing your trouble at nighttime is whether or not your child is ready to drop the nap. So most kids will drop a nap around 3 to 3.5 years of age. That's very average. One of the common signs of being ready to drop the nap is not that they don't fall asleep at nap time. A lot of our kids still continue to nap really well. However, they will not fall asleep before 9 or 9:30 at night. That's the more common sign that they're ready to drop the nap. What's happening is that nap is disrupting your child's sleep drive. Right? Sleep drive is that buildup of a protein that signals our brain when it's time to sleep. And if your 3 or 4-year-old is napping, their sleep drive takes a longer time to peak at the end of the day, and it might not be until 10 o'clock at night. The challenge is now your child doesn't sleep in, right? No matter when you put them to bed, they wake up roughly around the same time. So now that nap is actually cutting into your nighttime sleep. And so that can be a sign that it's time to drop the nap to get your child more consolidated overnight sleep, which is better for them. Okay. Another question came up, can potty training cause a sleep regression? Sure it can, because it can be distracting to be potty training and working on a new skill. So it can cause a sleep regression. And what it can do is often open up some boundaries, right? How many of us have been potty training, put our little person perhaps in the crib or the bed, and then they say, oh, I need to use the potty. It's a wonderful stall tactic for a toddler. It gets your attention, it gets your praise, and if they don't really want to go to bed, exactly. So yes, potty training can cause a sleep regression. If you're looking for more baby sleep tips, don't forget to hit subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube to our channel. We also have 2 simple freebies to help you out. We have a sleep quiz, which is 6 simple questions to assess what's working well for you and what you might be able to tweak for kiddos up to 24 months. That's sleep quiz. I'll put the link below. We also have our toddler sleep terrorism guide that's for kiddos 2 to 4 years old, which can help you make sure that you're really nailing the timing of sleep for your child by age and help you get to sleep quickly and sleep through the night.